Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Heat Zone Live, courtesy of Kindle Sports Network. The Miami Heat look to close out the regular season series as they host as they take on the Cleveland Cavaliers, in what should be another high-scoring, very intense game between these two teams. And of course, the Heat and the Cavaliers are no strangers to each other, going back to last season where the Heat lost to, or rather, got swept by the Cleveland Cavaliers in the postseason. So this should be another exciting game for both teams. And I do believe Jared Allen is back in the starting lineup, so this one should be highly contested. I mean, the last game, the Heat benefited from not having to go up against Jared Allen, thanks to the efforts of Bam Adebayo and Kelly Ware. So now Evan Mobley will have Jared Allen in the front court with him. So this one should be a very intense, high-scoring game, like I said. Hopefully the Miami Heat can capitalize on getting another win. All right, so here we go. Cleveland have the ball. Sam Merrill, guarded by Tyler Hero. Gives it to Evan Mobley. Mobley kicks it out to Jared Allen. And Allen gets the hook over Bam to get Cleveland on the board. All right, here comes Davion Mitchell. Mitchell gives it to Bam. Bam out to Wiggins. Wiggins kicks it out to Davion Mitchell. Out to Bam. Bam back to Davion Mitchell for three. And that one rims off. Rebound by Cleveland. Here comes Sam Merrill. Merrill driving in. Finds a three. And that's going to go out of bounds. I think that might be a foul on Miami. All right, so James Harden will go to the line for 2 free throws. Harden knocks down the first free throw. Harden makes a second free throw. Okay, so he was fouled shooting a three, so that makes sense. And James Harden makes all 3 free throws. So the Cavaliers lead by 5. Here comes Norman Powell. He gets fouled, and he will go to the line for some free throws. That foul is going to be on Donovan Mitchell, I believe. And now the injury report for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Craig Porter Jr. is out with a groin injury. Jalen Tyson out with a toe injury. And Dean Wade out with an ankle injury. So 3 Cavaliers are out for tonight's game. All right, Miami will have his side out. Here comes Bam. Kicks it out to Wiggins. Back to Bam. Bam goes for 3. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Evan Mobley. Mobley guarded by Andrew Wiggins. Here comes Sam Merrill driving into the lane. Finds Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell gets his shot blocked by Wiggins. Sam Merrill knocks down that 3, and Cleveland are on an 8-0 run. Here comes Norman Powell streaking through, and he gets a layup to put Miami on the board. All right, here comes Jared Allen catching the lob. And right now, the Cleveland Cavaliers are rolling, and there is another steal, and here comes the Cavaliers again. And I think that's going to be a foul on Miami. This one's going to be on Norman Powell. I mean, right now the Cavaliers are rolling. Right now, the Cavaliers are rolling, especially with Jared Allen back in the fold. All right, here comes Harden, kicks it out to Mobley. And that's another three for Cleveland. The Cavs lead by 11. All right, here comes Tyler Hero to Davion Mitchell. Davion Mitchell drives in. Gets fouled. Nope. It's going to go out of bounds on Miami, so it'll be Cleveland ball. And Donovan Mitchell knocks it down, and that's going to prompt a Heat timeout. Just like 2 nights ago, where Miami got out on a hot start, Cleveland are on a roll this time as they lead 15-2. And we are back. Score is 2-15. Miami right now are in a tight spot and they need to get out of it. Right now, here comes Miami. And Norman Powell answers with a three of his own. So the Heat now within 10. All right, here comes Cleveland now. Looking to answer back. All right, so Cleveland will go to the line for 2 free throws. All right, Miami just answered back with a 3 of their own. So now the Heat are within 9. All right now, the Cleveland Cavaliers just led 21-8. Things are not looking good for Miami right now. They need to hunker down on defense and get some defensive stops. Defensive rebounds as well. Right now, Miami should have the ball. No, Cleveland has the ball right now. They're pushing up ahead, looking for another basket, I assume. All right. Cleveland yet to score. Cleveland yet to score again, despite having a 13-point lead. All right, Miami is answering back. They're within 11 right now. Right. Tyler Hero's at the line. Makes the first free throw. And Tyler Hero goes and makes the second. So now the Heat are within 11. Miami needs to really come back into this one using defense. Defense and rebounding will help them come back. All right, the Cavaliers still lead 21-10. Cleveland has the ball. They're swinging the ball around. All right, Miami has the ball back. They find. All right, they find someone right now. All right, they give it. Bam. Bam going in. Fade away. Misses. Rebound goes to Garrett Allen. All right, here we go. James Harden has the ball now. Kicks out to Evan Mobley. Mobley misses the basket. Rebound goes to Bam. Bam pushes up ahead. Gets fouled. And I think that's coming out James Harden. Okay. All right, Miami answers back to the basket. And we're going to have ourselves a timeout. We have the lead 21-12. And we are back. Score is 21-12. And Miami had a coach's challenge. Let's see if it is successful or not. There's a Norman Powell said he had all ball. But Cleveland said that he had committed a foul. So let's see what Let's see what the officials have to say on this one. So it'll be a jump ball instead. Referee's gonna make heads or tails who committed a foul or not. So it'll be a jump ball. We'll have Pal Larson going against Mobley. And Cleveland wins the tip. All right, here comes Evan Mobley. Mobley guarded by Cavaliers. Might comes up with that loose ball. Here come the Heat. Davion Mitchell gives it to Cavaliers. Cavaliers backing him down. Cavaliers is there for the putback. And Miami within 7. All right, here comes Cleveland. James Harden guarded by Davion Mitchell. That's 3 on the way. And Max Strus knocks it down. Another former Miami Heat player on the Cavs, knocking down that 3. All right. Here comes Pal Larson. Gives it to Norman Powell. That one rebound goes to Cleveland. Another 3 on the way, and Max Strus and not miss. That's another 3 for Cleveland. Juice is loose in Cleveland. And there's a floater from Jaime Hawkins Jr. as they get within 11. All right, here comes. Right goes Cleveland now. James Harden has it. So far, Cleveland has been dominating on offense, and they've managed to snag some rebounds on both ends of the floor. So right now Cleveland will have a side out. Right, here goes Max Strus again. Here's it in shorter. And that basket falls for Thomas Bryant, another former Miami Heat player. Right now the Heat drawn by 13 in this game. Here comes Hawkins. Hawkins gives the ball to Hero. Hero out to Pal Larson. I think that's going to be a foul on the Cavs. This one's going to be on Keon Ellis. Right, Miami will have a side out. Here's Hero. Gives it to Larson. Larson drives in. And Larson gets the basket. Right here within 11. And it's a 3 away. Max Strus again. And lighting it up. The Cavs are up by 14. And here comes Tyler Hero. Hero free. He's away. Misses the basket. Nice put back by Jasper Gallagher. Right, here comes Max Strus again. Ball knocked. Loose because Miami on the fast break. Jaime Hawkins Jr. Slides in and gets the layup. And he's within 10. All right, here comes Dennis Schroeder. Right now has it. Gives it to Keon Ellis. Keon Ellis guarded by Jaime Hawkins Jr. Passes out to Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder drives in. Misses the basket. Thomas Bryant's there for the putback. All right, here comes. Here's Miami. Jasper Gallagher has it. Guarded by Max Strus. Jaime Hawkins Jr. almost lost the ball. Hawkins backing down Schroeder. Loses the ball. Here comes Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell drives in, misses the layup. Rebound goes to Miami. And the three on the way. Now one rims off. Rebound goes to Cleveland again. Max Strus pulls up the three, and he still can't miss. Max Strus is on fire. He has 12 points, has gone 4 for 4 from 3-point land. And a three from Delaware, and that one goes down. All right, here comes Dennis Schroeder. The Max Strus. He's feeling it again. And there's a miss. Here comes Davion Mitchell. Thomas Bryant sending screen. Dennis Schroeder for three. And that one goes in. In fact, that's Keon Ellis with a three-pointer. Right now, Cleveland's getting everything they want and sending a message. All right, so Keon Ellis goes to the line for three. 40 and 1 opportunity. And that one rims off. Rebound goes to Delaware. Delaware gives it to Patrick Jefferson. Here comes Tommy Hawkins Jr. Hawkins guarded by Dennis Schroeder. Gives it to Patrick Jefferson. Here comes Hawkins. Hawkins slides in and gets the basket. Right, here comes Mitchell. Mitchell gives to Schroeder. Schroeder drives in. Out to Thomas Bryant for three. That rims off, and that's going to end the first quarter. Score is 40-27. Cleveland. And we are back, ready to begin the second quarter. Right now the Heat are trailing by 10 at this point. Score is 42-32, and that's 3 on the way. That rims off for Cleveland. Tommy Hawkins Jr. driving in. Kicks it out to Bam. Bam, the spot up jumper, he knocks it down. That brings the Heat with an 8. Okay, here comes Cleveland. That's 3 on the way. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Bam. Bam loses the ball. Here comes Cleveland. And there's Evan Mobley with a go-ahead dunk. And the Cavs go up by 10. All right, here comes Bam again. All right, Cleveland will have it side out. Miami so far has 5 turnovers to Cleveland's 2. Cleveland has 7 points off turnovers to Miami's 2. Here comes James Harden. That's out to Sam Merrill. That 3 rims off. Here comes Bam again. Bam kicks out to Hawkins. Hawkins for 3. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Cleveland. Here comes James Harden. Winds in Schroeder. Schroeder drives in and gets the bucket. And we'll go to the M1. Right, so then Schroeder goes away for the M1. And then Schroeder makes the M1. Right, here comes Tommy Hawkins Jr. Cleveland intercepts that pass. And here comes Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell kicks it out to Sam Merrill for 3. And that one falls. And the Heat will call for a timeout. Right now, the Cavaliers are rolling once again as they lead 50-34. And we are back. The Cavaliers now have a 55-36 lead. Rebound goes. That's going to go out of bounds, and it'll be Heat ball. All right, Simone Fontecchio was in the game for Miami. All right, here comes Simone Fontecchio. Gives it to Wiggins. Wiggins. Rebound goes to Cleveland. Here comes Evan Mobley. Mobley charges in. I think that's going to be a defensive foul on Miami. All right, here comes Sam Merrill. Sam gives it to Harden. Harden guarded by Norman Powell. Harden drives in. Misses the layup. Rebound goes to Miami. Here comes Bam Adebayo. Gives it to Simone Fontecchio for three. And that one rims off. Rebound goes to Cleveland. Here comes Sam Merrill. Merrill guarded by Fontecchio. Here comes Max Strus. Gives it to Harden. Harden guarded by Fontecchio. Harden with another miss. And here comes Bam Adebayo. Gives it to Fontecchio. Fontecchio to Norman Powell, missing that three. And Miami seems to can't buy a bucket. Here comes Max Strus. Gives it to Evan Mobley. Mobley drives in. Mobley gets his shot blocked by Bam. And that ball goes out of bounds. Evan Mobley was looking for the foul, but he doesn't get it. Nice defensive play by Bam to stop Mobley from getting that basket. Cleveland are leading by 19 in this game. All right, James Harden will inbound the ball. And that's going to be a shoving foul on Miami. This one's on Andrew Wiggins. All right, so the referee's going to look at this one to see if that was a flagrant foul or not. All right, so after the officials' review, I believe it's going to be Cleveland ball still. All right, so it's going to be a technical free throw for Cleveland. James Harden will go ahead. And he makes a technical free throw. That brings Cleveland up to 20. All right, here comes Jared Allen. Misses the basket. Rebound goes to Bam. Bam kicks it out to Davion Mitchell. All right, here comes Keon Ellis. Gives it to Max Strus. Strus drives in and gets the layup. And that brings the Cavaliers within 22. By 22, I should say. Here comes Norman Powell. Powell kicks it out to Fontecchio. Here comes Bam. Bam spins in. Rebound goes to Norman Powell. Powell drives in, gets the layup. And the Heat are trailing by 20. Here comes James Harden. Out to Max Strus for another three. And right now, the Heat's defense is struggling against this Cleveland offense. Here comes Wiggins. Wiggins gets fouled, and he will go to the line for 2 free throws. All right, Andrew Wiggins at the line. He misses the first free throw. All right, and Andrew Wiggins goes 1 of 2 from the line. And James Harden makes the go-ahead floater, and that brings the Cavaliers up by 24. Simone Fontecchio missing the basket, and here comes the Cavaliers again. Keon Ellis getting the layup, and right now this game is starting to get away from Miami. This game has gotten away from the Heat. Period. Here comes Bam. Bam gets fouled, and he will go to the line for 2 free throws. All right, referee's going to review it. All right, we have another official review. So we will have another timeout. Cavaliers are running away with this one as they lead 65-39. And we are back. After that last referee's review, it was called a foul on Cleveland, so Bam Adebayo will go to the line for 2 free throws. Bam knocks down the first free throw. And Bam goes 1 of 2 from the line. So here comes Cleveland. Here comes James Harden. Harden alley-oops it to Jared Allen, gets his own rebound, and gets a putback. All right, here comes Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins gives it to Davion Mitchell, to Tyler Hero. Hero misses the layup. Rebound goes to Cleveland. Here comes Jared Allen again. Ooh! Flew in for the nasty dunk. And the Cavaliers go up 69-40. All right, here comes Norman Powell for 3. That one rims off. Rebound goes to James Harden. The Cavaliers right now on a 27-6. Make that 29-6 run. Yeah, this game has gotten way out of reach for Miami at this point. A 31-point lead for Cleveland. Here comes Bam. Drives it. Almost caught a body. But instead, he's going to go into the line for 2 free throws. Foul's going to be on James Harden. Here it is again. James Harden trying to prevent Bam from putting him on a poster. I mean, it looked like it was going to be a poster for Bam. Bam knocks down the first free throw. And Bam makes both free throws. All right, now here comes Cleveland. James Harden guarded by Davion Mitchell. Here comes Harden. Finds Jared Allen for the uncontested dunk. And now things have really gotten out of hand for Miami. Cleveland leading 73-42. All right, here comes James Harden. Max Strus for 3. Rims off. Rebound goes to Max Strus again. And he gets the putback. And that's going to prompt yet another Heat timeout. The Cavaliers lead 75-42. And we are back. There we go. And we are back. Right now, the Heat just answered back with a basket, but they have a long ways to go against Cleveland. Here comes Davion Mitchell, gives it to Hawkes. Hawkes drives in, gets the basket. So far, it's an uphill climb for the Miami Heat. Hawkes right now with 10 points, going 5 for 7 from the field. All right, here comes Tyler Hero. Hero loses the ball, and so does Max Roos. It goes out of bounds. It will be Heat ball. All right, here comes Hawkes. Hawkes gives the ball to Pelle Larsson. Here comes Larsson. To Davion Mitchell for 3. Rims out. Rebound goes to James Harden. And I think that's going to be a foul on Pelle Larsson. All right, so Cleveland will have his side out. Here comes James Harden. Harden guarded by Davion Mitchell. Here comes James Harden. Goes for 3. And he knocks it down. And this is the most points scored in a half this season by Cleveland. 78. That is embarrassing. The Heat just gave up 78 points in the first half to Cleveland. Max Strus for 3, and that's gonna make it 81. The most points ever given up by the Miami Heat in the first half. 81 points. Golly. "81 points. My God." So at halftime, the score is 81-46 Cleveland. My God. Like, no offense. Offense got shut down. No desire on defense. Rebounding was a mess. And nobody was hardly even passing the ball unless they were side out. So this was an abysmal half for Miami, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This was abysmal to watch, and Miami just allowed that to happen to them. Right now, they're still on the wrong side of history, and they're currently 10th place in the play-in. Horrible. That's absolutely horrible. So right now it's halftime, and I'm going to just take some time to cool off. And we are back as the third quarter gets underway. The Cavaliers lead 81-48. Here comes Donovan Mitchell. Drives in, gets the layup. Nope. Rebound goes to Miami. There's a three on the way from Wiggins, and he knocks it down. Right now the Heat are trailing by 30 in this game. All right, here comes Evan Mobley, and he gets a layup. All right, here comes Tyler Hero. Hero misses the basket, and here comes Cleveland. Harden now guarded by Tyler Hero. Harden looking to drive into the lane. Harden fades away, and I think that's gonna be a foul on Tyler Hero. Right, James Harden goes to the line for 2 free throws. Harden makes both free throws. And Harden makes both free throws. All right, here comes Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins kicks it out to Norman Powell. Here comes Norman Powell, drives in, misses a basket, and here comes the Cavaliers. Donovan Mitchell gets fouled, and he will go to the line for 2 free throws. Donovan Mitchell knocks down the first free throw. All right, and Donovan Mitchell makes both free throws. All right, here comes Tyler Hero. Gives it to Norman Powell. Powell with a fadeaway, and he knocks it down. All right, here comes James Harden. Harden kicks it out to Jared Allen, and he gets the basket. All right, here comes Bam. Norman Powell drives in, kicks it out. Bam goes for the three, and that one rims off. Rebound goes to James Harden. Donovan Mitchell for three. That one rims off. Ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by Davion Mitchell. Sam Merrill for three. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Andrew Wiggins. Here comes Wiggins. Kicks it out to Norman Powell. Powell drives in. Kicks it out to Bam. Bam sets for the three. And he knocks it down. Right, Bam Adebayo with 10 points, Going 3 for 11 from the field. All right, here comes Sam Merrill. Merrill kicks it out to Harden. Merrill sets the screen. Harden guarded by Hero. All right, Cleveland will have it side out. And that is going to be a 24-second violation on the Cavs, so it'll be heat ball. All right, here comes Davion Mitchell. Kicks it out to Tyler Hero. Hero finds Davion Mitchell. Andrew Wiggins for 3, and he knocks it down. And right now the Heat are trailing by 30. They're trying to get themselves back into this one. But it's still an uphill climb, as Jared Allen will easily take that layup over Norman Powell. All right, here comes Tyler Hero. Misses that basket. Rebound goes to Cleveland. All right, stolen away by Miami, and here comes Bam Adebayo. Gives it to Tyler Hero. Hero gives the ball to Powell. Finds Wiggins. Wiggins going baseline. And he will go to the line for 2 free throws. Foul's going to be on Evan Mobley. Andrew Wiggins at the line. Makes the first free throw. And Andrew Wiggins makes both free throws. The Heat still trailing by 30 in this one. Here comes Sam Merrill. Gives it to Jared Allen. And I think that's going to be a that's going to be Cleveland ball still. Bam Adebayo coming up with that rebound. Bam missing again. Cleveland recovers the ball, and here comes Sam Merrill. Harden for 3. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Davion Mitchell. Here comes Tyler Hero. Hero finds Bam. Bam loses the ball, and that one's going to go out of bounds. And we're going to have ourselves a timeout as the Cavaliers lead 91-61. And we are back. Score is still 91 to 61. Cleveland has a commanding 30-point lead. Bam Adebayo at the line for 2 free throws. Bam knocks down the first free throw. And Bam makes both free throws. All right, here comes Max Strus, guarded by Andrew Wiggins. Here comes Evan Mobley. Mobley gives it to Harden. Harden drives in, alley-oop to Mobley, and the Cavs are up by 30. All right, here comes Tyler Hero. Gives it to Davion Mitchell. Back to Hero. Hero guarded by Strus. Hero for 3. And that one falls. Tyler Hero knocks down the 3. And just like that, Keon Ellis answers back with an uncontested dunk for Cleveland. Here goes Tyler Hero again. Gives it to James Harden. I'm sorry, not James Harden. Bam Adebayo, excuse me. Here comes Bam. Goes for 3. Rims off. Rebound goes to Evan Mobley. And there, Evan Mobley misses the alley-oop, and here comes Miami. Spot up 3 from Davion Mitchell. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Tyler Hero. Nearly loses the ball. Gives it to Bam. Goes right out of bounds. Last touch by Cleveland. All right, Bam at the line for Miami. Knocks down the first free throw. And makes both free throws. So the Heat trail by 27 in this game. All right, here comes Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder gives it to Thomas Bryant for 3. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Bam. All right, here comes Bam. Bam guarded by Thomas Bryant. He's getting double teamed. Davion Mitchell for 3. That one rims off. Rebound goes to James Harden. Max Strus uncontested 3. And that one falls as the Cavaliers go up by 30. All right, here comes Bam. Bam gives it to Davion Mitchell. Out to Pella Larson. Larson drives in, gets fouled, and will go to the line for 2 free throws. Pella Larson at the line for Miami. Knocks down the first free throw. And Larson makes both free throws. Here comes Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder guarded by Hawkes. Now picked up by Bam. Schroeder thought about going for the three. Going baseline. Kicks it out to Thomas Bryant for the layup. And right now the Cavs reached 100 points. Here comes Norman Powell. And that's going to be a kickball violation on the Cavs. All right, here comes Bam missing that basket. Rebound goes to Max Strus. That ball's gonna go. That's gonna be a turnover on Cleveland, so it's gonna be Heat ball. And I think that's gonna be a foul on Cleveland. That should send Pelle Larsson to the line for 2 free throws. Pelle Larsson knocks down the first free throw. And Larsson knocks down both free throws. All right, here comes Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder guarded by Kasper Siakajunas. Gives it to Thomas Bryant. Back to Schroeder. Schroeder drives in. And I think that's gonna be 2 fouls for 2 free throws for Dennis Schroeder. Going right past Kasper Siakajunas, who wraps him up. Schroeder now at the line. Makes the first free throw. And Schroeder goes 1 of 2 from the line. Here comes Jaime Jaquez Jr. Gives it to Norman Powell for 3. And that one falls. Norman Powell brings Miami within 26. All right, here comes Dennis Schroeder. Thought about going for the 3. Gives it to Thomas Bryant. Rims out. Rebound goes to Bam. Here come the Miami Heat now. Jaquez for 3. And Jaquez sinks it. And right now the Heat are trailing by 23. They're trying to get themselves back into this one. Hawkins had his feet set, knocks down the 3. But then Kasper Siakajunas got knocked down after the basket. Foul's going to be on Dennis Schroeder for shoving him. So the referees will review this one to see if this one was a flagrant foul. So right now the Cavaliers lead 101-78. And we are back after that last call, after that referee's review. It is going to be a flagrant foul on Dennis Schroeder for shoving Kasper Jakajunas. Right after the three was made from Jaime Jaquez Jr., you can kind of see that Dennis Schroeder did shove Kasper Jakajunas down. So it'll be a technical free throw for Miami. And Jakajunas makes a technical free throw. So Miami will have possession of the ball again. So let's see if the Heat can capitalize on this break. Jaime Jaquez Jr. inbounds the ball, gives it to Bam. Bam gives it to Larson. Larson finds Jaquez. Jaquez to Norman Powell. Powell drives in, kicks it out. Jaquez for three. Jaime Jaquez Jr. knocks it down, and all of a sudden the Heat are within 19. They have come back from 30 down to make this a 19-point game. So far, so good, but it's still a long ways off for Miami. As Keon Ellis misses the three, rebound goes to Thomas Bryant. Ball's knocked loose, rebound goes to Miami. The Heat now on a 12-1 run. Kasper Jakajunas for three. Misses it. Rebound goes to Max Strus, and here comes Cleveland. Here comes Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell loses the ball, goes sailing downward, and I think that's going to be a foul on Miami. Let's see. Donovan Mitchell shoving off Pelle Larson and then going downward after colliding with Jaime Jaquez Jr. So Donovan Mitchell will go to the line for 2 free throws. Donovan Mitchell makes the first free throw. And Donovan Mitchell makes both free throws. And that's going to be an offensive foul on Jaime Jaquez Jr. So it will be Cavs ball again. Right, rebound goes to Miami. Right, here comes Jaquez, kicks it out to Bam. Bam for the corner three. Rebound goes to Cleveland. And here come the Cavs. They had a 34-point lead. And then there's Thomas Bryant putting it back up. Now the Cavaliers lead by 23 in this game. Here comes Kasper Jakajunas. Out to Jaquez. Jaquez gives it to Norman Powell. Back to Jaquez. Jaquez for three. Rims off. Rebound goes to Max Strus again. Another rebound goes to Miami. Here comes Pelle Larson to Jaquez. Jaquez gets the basket. And right now the Heat are trailing by 21 in this game. Here comes Donovan Mitchell. All right, Max Strus will go to the line for 2 free throws. Jaime Jaquez Jr. shoved off on Strus. All right, Max Strus misses the first free throw. And Max Strus goes 1 of 2 from the line. All right, here goes Norman Powell for 3. Rims off, and that's going to end the third quarter. Hold on, wait a second. Looks like the referees are conversing among each other, saying that may be a foul on Keon Ellis. Not sure if it was a foul on Keon Ellis, but they're gonna go ahead and review it. Let's see it again. Looked like Keon Ellis did hit Norman Powell on the way down. Yeah, Norman Powell was on his way down and drew contact with Keon Ellis. So I think that's going to be a foul on Keon Ellis. All right, Norman Powell will go to the line for 3 free throws, I believe. Yeah, it should be 3 free throws. Norman Powell knocks down the first free throw. Norman Powell sinks the second. And Norman Powell sinks all 3 free throws. And of course, that basket counts for Keon Ellis. Hitting right back in front of Miami. Right from the logo of all places. Right on the logo and everything. Of course he would hit that. So at the end of the third quarter, the score is 109 to 87. Cleveland. I have to give kudos to Miami. Coming down from a 36-point deficit to now 22. I mean, Miami still got a lot of work ahead of them, but this is a start. So let's see what they can do in the fourth quarter. And we are back as the fourth quarter is on the way. Cleveland now leads 111-87. All right, and the rebound goes to Cleveland. Here comes Evan Mobley. Mobley guarded by Kelly Ware. And there's the basket from Evan Mobley. All right, here comes Kaspers Yakajunas. Yakajunas finds Kelly Ware for three. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Cleveland. Sam Merrill gives it to Evan Mobley. Mobley guarded by Kelly Ware. Mobley drives through and gets the dunk. And that's going to prompt a Heat timeout. Erik Spoelstra is not loving what he is seeing right now. The Cavaliers lead is 115-87. back. Score is 115-87. Here comes Jaime Jaquez Jr. Gives it to Kel'el Ware. Kel'el Ware drives through. He stops and gets the layup over Evan Mobley. All right, here comes Evan Mobley, looking to get it right back at Kel'el Ware. He misses, and he gets fouled. Right, Evan Mobley goes to the line for 2 free throws. And Evan Mobley makes both free throws. All right, here comes Miami. Kel'el Ware getting the dunk for Miami. He has 10 points, going 4 from 6 from the field. And there's Dennis Schroeder getting the basket right back for Cleveland. All right, here comes another steal for Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell has it. Donovan Mitchell guarded by Tyler Hero. He drives in, gets fouled, and will go to the line for 2 free throws. I'm sorry. Cleveland will have it side out instead. All right, here comes James Harden. Harden gives it to Sam Merrill. Back to Harden. Harden guarded by Jaime Jaquez Jr. And James Harden missing the basket. Here comes Miami now. Jaime Jaquez Jr. gives it to Kel'el Ware. Kel'el for 3. Rims off. Bad decision making right there. And here comes James Harden. And it's stolen away by Miami, only to give it right back to Cleveland. It's a 3 on the way. Sam Merrill missing that uncontested jumper. And Miami gets the rebound again. Jaquez, Hero. Hero thought about going for the 3. Finds Kasparas Jakajunas. And he knocks it down. Kasparas Jakajunas knocking down that 3 as Miami are within 25. Cleveland swinging the ball around. Evan Mobley gets the uncontested dunk. Miami's defense broke down that time. All right, here comes Jaime Jaquez Jr. Gives it to Tyler Hero. Hero thought about going for the 3. Hero pulls up and makes the basket. The Heat are trailing by 25 in this game. All right, here comes Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder finds Harden. Back to Schroeder. Schroeder driving into the lane. Gives it to Evan Mobley for the dunk. Evan Mobley right now with 23 points off 10 for 15 shooting from the field. All right, here comes Jaime Jaquez Jr. Jaquez gives it to Hero. Jaquez finds Jakajunas for 3. Kasparas Jakajunas knocking it down. Another 3 for Miami. And right now the Heat are trailing by 24. They're trying to claw their way back into this one. All right, here comes Donovan Mitchell. Gives it to Harden. James Harden kicks it out to Schroeder. Schroeder, pull-up jumper. He misses. Rebound goes to Miami. Here comes Tommy Hawkins Jr. driving through the lane. Gets the basket and will go for the and one. And Miami now within 22. Nice effort from Miami to not only snare the rebound, but to also get the basket from Hawkins. Hawkins at the line, misses the and one. Miami gets the rebound. Nice back tap by Pella Larson. Tyler Hero for three. Rims off. Rebound goes to Kelly Ware. And Kelly Ware will go to the line for 2 free throws. Kelly Ware had to tussle for that rebound against Max Strus, Evan Mobley, and Sam Merrill. So Max Strus, that is his third foul in this game. All right, Miami will have it side out instead. All right, here comes Kelly Ware. Gives it a Hero. Hero gets fouled. All right, Myron Gardner is now in the game for Miami. Heat will inbound. They give it to Kelly Ware. And that's going to be an offensive foul on Miami. A needless offensive foul, and that one's going to be on Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero bumping right into Sam Merrill. That was not needed. That was not needed at all. Wait. Somebody got hit with a technical. I'm not sure who it was. Someone got hit with a technical. I'm not sure who it was. Yep. Tyler Hero got hit with a technical foul. So referees will see if this was an offensive foul on. Referees will see if this was an offensive foul on Tyler Hero. All right, let's see what the referee has to say. So it will be a flagrant foul on Tyler Hero. So that will be a technical free throw for Cleveland. James Harden will go to the line to shoot the technical free throw. All right, Sam Merrill will go to the line to shoot his technical free throw. He knocks down the first. And he makes both free throws. So Cleveland will have possession of the ball. All right, so Cleveland will have a side out. Ball's knocked loose by Myron Gardner, but it goes out of bounds. All right, Cleveland will inbound the ball again. Here comes Dennis Schroeder. Out to James Harden. James Harden for three. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Kelly Ware. Kelly Ware gives it to Pala Larson. Larson finding Kelly Ware, but no go. Rebound goes back to Miami. Here comes Myron Gardner. Finds Kelly Ware. Gets the basket. And the Heat are down by 23 in this game. Here comes James Harden. Finds Thomas Bryant for three. And Thomas Bryant sinks the basket. All right, here comes Pala Larson. Misses the layup, but he gets fouled. All right, Pala Larson knocks down the first free throw. And Pala Larson knocks down both free throws. So now the Heat trail by 24. Here comes Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder, guarded by Kasper Siakam, gives it to Max Strus. And that's going to be an offensive foul on Cleveland. Thomas Bryant setting that illegal screen. Here comes Myron Gardner. Finds Kelly Ware blows an easy layup. Max Strus for three. And he sinks it. Right now, Cleveland's lead is back up to 27. Pala Larson missing that three. Here comes Cleveland again. Max Strus pulls up, misses the basket. Rebound goes to Kasper Siakam. Kasper Siakam for three. Rims off, and that goes out of bounds. All right, Max Strus will take a seat on the bench. All right, here comes Cleveland again. Dennis Schroeder missing that basket. Rebound goes to Miami. Fontecchio gives it to Kelly Ware. Myron Gardner for three. That one rims off. Rebound goes to Cleveland. And whoo, what a nasty block from Myron Gardner. That was a nasty block from Myron Gardner. And also we see Keshad Johnson in the game. Myron Gardner soared for that block, and I think he got some of number 24 for the Cavaliers. I mean, nice hustle play from Myron Gardner. I think Thomas Bryant may have got himself ejected from the game. I'm not sure. So the referees are going to see if this one's yep, it's a technical foul on Thomas Bryant, but we're going to see if this was a flagrant foul on Myron Gardner or not. So the referees give Myron Gardner a flagrant foul call. So, but also because of the technical foul on on Thomas Bryant, Miami will get a technical free throw on their end. Thomas Bryant's very heated right now. And Cleveland gets one of their own. Actually, two, actually. So Cleveland makes two technical free throws, plus it will get the ball back in their possession. Here comes Proctor. And Tyrese Proctor knocks down the basket. So now Cleveland's lead is back up to 30. And that's going to be a foul on Cleveland. All right, and here Casper Jakajunas will go to the line for two free throws. And Jakajunas makes both free throws. All right, here comes Cleveland again. Larry Nance Jr. loses the ball, and that one's going to go out of bounds. All right, here comes Kashad Johnson. Kashad Johnson gives the ball to Myron Gardner. He gets fouled, and Gardner will go to the line for two free throws. right, Myron Gardner makes the first free throw. And Myron Gardner goes 1 of 2 from the line. That ball goes sailing out of bounds. It will be heat ball. There's a 3 on the way. That one rims off. Simone Fontecchio gets his own rebound and put back. The Heat trail by 25 in this game. All right, here comes Cleveland now. Cleveland drives in, misses the bat. Oh my God. Kelly Ware, my God. Kelly Ware loses the ball. It goes out of bounds, and that's going to lead to a Cavs timeout. Score is 136-111. All right, we are back. Score is 136-111. Jared Allen returned with a double-double. Evan Mobley has a double-double. And James Harden has a double-double. Jared Allen with 18 points, 10 rebounds. Evan Mobley with 23 points and 10 rebounds. And James Harden with 17 points and 14 assists. It has been all Cavaliers throughout this game, and they have not let up so far. They have not let up all game long. And there's going to be another foul on Miami. So Larry Nance Jr. will go to the line for 2 free throws. Larry Nance Jr. misses the first free throw. And Larry Nance Jr. goes 1 of 2 from the line. All right, here comes Kasparas Yakajounis. All right, Miami's at the line. Simone Fontecchio's at the line for Miami. He knocks down the first free throw. And Fontecchio makes both free throws. And it's stolen by Fontecchio, and he flies in for the layup. And the lead is down to 22. All right, here comes Cleveland. There's a three on the way. And that one falls for Cleveland. Riley Minix from Vero Beach, Florida knocks it down. All right, here comes Miami. Delaware now has the ball. Simone Fontecchio for three. And the lead is now down to 22. Here comes Cleveland again. Cleveland missing that three. Rebound goes to Miami. Fontecchio pushes up the head to Kashad Johnson. He gets fouled. So that will be 2 free throws for Kashad Johnson. Kashad Johnson missing the first free throw. And there you see Olivier Sarr from France. Of course, he is the brother of Washington Wizards forward Alex Sarr. Kashad Johnson goes 1 of 2 from and another steal for Miami. Simone Fontecchio for three. And Simone Fontecchio gets the three-pointer. Right now, this lead is down to 18. Miami now going for a full-court press. They should have done this sooner than later. There's a three on the way. And Larry Nance Jr. knocks it down. All right, here comes the Heat. And that's going to be a foul on Cleveland. That will send Kasper Jr. back to the line for two free throws. Foul's going to be on Tomlin. Kasper Jr. knocks down the first free throw. And Miami knocks down both free throws. And there's going to be another foul on the Heat. All right, so Cleveland's back at the line, knocks down the first free throw, brings their lead back up to 20. And they make both free throws. So that was Tyrese Proctor with both free throws for Cleveland. Leads back up to 21. There's a three on the way. Rims off. Rebound goes to Kel'el Ware. Kel'el Ware in traffic. Gets fouled, but goes to the line for 2 free throws. All right, Kelly Ware knocks down the first free throw. And Kelly Ware makes both free throws. And that's three on the way. And Riley Minix knocks it down. Right now it's a 22-point lead for Cleveland. It's a three on the way. That one rims off. And rebound goes to Cleveland. Miami going with another full court press. Right now, yeah, this game is completely over. 20 seconds remaining as Olivier Sarr will go to the line for 2 free throws. Sarr missing the first free throw. And Olivier Sarr will go 1 of 2 from the line. All right, here comes Miami. There goes Myron Gardner flying in and getting the layup. And Cleveland will go ahead and dribble this one out. And that will do it. Final score, 149 to 128. This is another tough loss for Miami. Not only do they sit at 10th place in the Eastern Conference, meaning they're still in the play-in, but let's just talk about how bad they were in the first half. Aside from the return of Jared Allen, who had a double-double, and of course that led to Evan Mobley and James Harden getting double-doubles of their own, Max Strus was on fire that whole game. Max Strus was on fire for much of the first half. It felt like he couldn't miss a three-pointer up until he did. But not only that, the Heat's offense stifled badly going up against Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. And the Heat's defense, they didn't do much of nothing. Just allowing Cleveland to get their shots off and praying that a basket will turn into a rebound for them. In hindsight, Miami lost badly because of the first half. They lost because of the first half. Now, while they did manage to come back in the second half, the damage was already done. The damage had already been done. 81 points. The most points Miami has given up in a half. Think about that. 81 points. That's sad. That is very sad. And very unacceptable. But Miami still needs to get themselves back in gear, because the way they played was unacceptable. And allowing themselves to lose, especially in the second quarter like that, only putting up 19 points to Cleveland's 41 is putrid. Just putrid. So right now, for the Heat, Norman Powell had 15 points. Andrew Wiggins had 12 points. Tyler Hero had 11 points. Off the bench, we had Pelle Larsson with 10 points. Kelly Oubre with 14 points. Jaime Hawkins Jr. leading the way with 20 points. Casper Siakam Jr. with 14 points. And Simone Fontecchio with 12. And of course, Bam Adebayo with a double-double of 14 points and 16 rebounds. And for the Cleveland Cavaliers, Sam Merrill had 10 points. Keon Ellis also with 10 points. Max Strus was fired up with 29 points. It felt like he could have gone for more. Thomas Bryant had 11 points. And as I mentioned earlier in the stream, a trio of triple-doubles. James Harden with 17 points and 14 assists. Evan Mobley with 23 points and 10 rebounds, and Jarrett Allen with 18 points and 10 rebounds. This game right here, the regular season series is tied between both Miami and Cleveland, but because of the record standings in the Eastern Conference, Cleveland owns the tiebreaker. And with that said, the next game for the Miami Heat, they're still on the road as they will head to the Circle City against another team that is struggling, but not as much as Miami, and that is the Indiana Pacers. The Eastern Conference champion Indiana Pacers. Sorry. That game starts Sunday at 5 p.m., and you can watch that on NBA League Pass and FanDuel Sports Network Sun. Again, Heat Pacers. Game starts Sunday at 5 p.m., and you can watch that on NBA League Pass and FanDuel Sports Network Sun. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of Heat Zone Live. Yeah, I know this one's kind of a tough loss, but you can't win. You can't win without being dominated. You can't win without being dominated. And Miami, even though they managed to make a comeback in the second half, what really hurt them was the second quarter. But that said, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in to this edition of Heat Zone Live. Wherever you are in the world, I want to say this to you. Be kind to one another, love one another, treat each other with kindness and respect, and show them the same grace and integrity that you would show your parents, show your family and loved ones. Because you never know when that day comes. I'm Deron Butler, reminding you to always run through the paint. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you guys on Sunday.